guys, we are getting ready to start here. So, all right, here we go. Here we go. So, I've been putting a lot of time and effort into getting my new hockey game, card and dice version of a hockey game up. So, first things first, let's talk a little bit about that. So, the reason I started this, and this is a long time ago, as you can see here, I've got. It's about the second time that I've introduced you guys to my hockey game here on my channel. If you're not familiar, you can go back quite a few months, do a search for Matchup Hockey, um, and you'll see some videos that I did of that. But you can see here I've had all kinds of different hockey variations, different modes. And if we go all the way down to the bottom here, it's all the way back to 2010. So we've been working on this for a long, long time and trying to get it just right for you guys. And now I think I've got a really good format, and I think it's something that I'm going to show you guys. And hopefully you guys will be interested in checking it out. Checking out the video and being interested in its development. There's a few things that I think now that I've finished it, I think I need to go back and relook at, but I don't want to do that until I do some playtesting on it and check out all my formulas. So let's talk about some of the old versions here. This is our matchup hockey that we introduced you guys not too long ago on my channel here. And a lot of different scripting that I had to get from online sources and etc. just to get this to play out the way I wanted to. Although it looks really confusing probably for you guys, for me it looks like a beautiful masterpiece, I'll tell you. But fortunately, because I've been using all these different versions and updating them and changing things and whatever, I can use some of the previous versions. So if I actually close out of that, no, we don't want to save that. You see some of what we're doing now is very similar to what we had in the past. So that will definitely helps a little bit. Definitely. So the problem with hockey games, and the reason I started this many years ago, is because hockey is very hard to simulate on cards and dice. Unlike baseball or football, basketball for that matter, basketball I guess would be the most similar. I've never tried basketball. I'm not a big fan of basketball, so I don't really deal with basketball. But I guess it would be the most similar is that unlike baseball, you have a one-on-one matchup. So you can have one player versus one player out there at a time and dealing with one versus one situation. Hockey, obviously, on the other hand, you got 6-on-6 with 5 skaters and a goalie. So you have to deal with that. So the problem with that is you want to incorporate different statistics for the players and different stats. So it's just not, generic player A versus generic player B or generic team A versus generic team B. So you want to have some kind of difference between the different players. At the same time, you want to make it thorough and deep. You don't just want roll on this player's card. If you look at the say, and this is nothing against certain what's the word I'm looking for? Organizations out there that have card and dice games, and you can set it up and do it however you want. But some of them out there is just roll on this card, random card, and get a random result. And for me, that's just not. It's not something that I think is deep and involved and strategy-wise. You also have different player lines. When you're talking about like a baseball matchup, you're talking about a batter versus hitter, and when you make changes to the game, unlike baseball, which keeps most of their players in until the 6th or 7th inning. So the first 5 or 6 innings or whatever, you're going to be using the same players over and over and over again, unlike hockey where you have to constantly rotate in and out, in and out, in and out, constantly, really quickly. So it brings a lot of challenges to making a hockey game because anytime you have charts to look up, or you need to reference other player cards out there, if I'm looking at, say, the right defenseman here, Dennis Seidenberg, and it tells me to look up, the defensive stats between the left wing, the center, and the right defensive, add those values up and compare it to Dennis Seidenberg, you can tell that that is going to take a long, long time. You got to look at his stat, then you got to look at his card, you got to find out his stat, you got to look at his card, find out his stat, you got to find out his card, then you got to add them together, then you got to compare them back to there just to get one result. So hockey, of all of the sports, I think should be the fastest playing game. Should be able to roll the dice really quickly, boom, 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 get it done and over with. Because you don't want, again, this is nothing against some of the games out there that are hockey versions that are already published by other companies, but you don't want like a minute to go by and just one dice roll, or 3 minutes to go by with one dice roll. It's just, you got to find out what's going on. It's hacky. There's constant action every 20 seconds. So there's a lot of issues trying to create a hockey game that's fast flowing, uses player stats and information, that doesn't use lots of charts and lots of lookups off of other players' cards. So you have to find a format that will incorporate all that, and I think I have done just that. So what you see over here basically is my version of, if you were to use cards and dice, you could have all the cards out in front of you, right? And then you can have, you don't need a spreadsheet to keep track of what players are on the ice, what players are not on the ice, which lineup you're using, and all that. But because I'm obviously using the computer to simulate the hockey game, I need something to show you guys what players are on the ice. Obviously, if you had the cards and dice, I did not mean to close that. I'm an idiot. If you had the cards and dice, you could lay all the cards out on the table, or you could stack them up, stack all your left wings together, stack all your centermen, your right wings. Yes, I want to remove all dice. Thank you. 1d10. We're going to add a 10-sider. We're going to go red. We're going to add a white. We're going to add a blue. So that's it. 3 10-sided dice is what we're going to be using to simulate this. And we'll get to the basics behind the system and everything, which I will show you here shortly. All right, so as I mentioned, if you had the cards and dice, if we had the actual cards out, so you can actually see, let's bring out Brad Marchand here. I'll be using him as a reference, I guess, since he happens to be the player I clicked on. And then we need some goalies. How about that? So Tuukka Rask for Boston, and for Tampa Bay, we're going to be using Ben Bishop. There he is. There we are. Slide this down there. Look at that. We didn't even have enough space and everything. That's almost like I designed it that way, I tell you. So, yeah, if I had all the player cards, if you had them all printed out and laying down on the table, you could have your left wing stack, you have your right wing stack, your center, left defense, right defense, and your goalies. And you'd have them there, and then when you rotated lines, you'd just take the card from the top, slide it to the bottom. Obviously, I can't do that on this screen because if I had 5 players across, and then I had a goalie, that would make 6 players across, and 6 players down here. That would fill up the screen. There wouldn't be anywhere to put anything else. So I've decided to show you guys graphically through Excel what players are on the ice. So obviously that would be totally different than actually using the cards and dice at home, right? Yes. Okay. So there are each player, as I mentioned, is cards and dice. So each player is going to have their own special card. So we're going to look at the cards here. And we're going to zoom in so you guys can see this nice and close. Except for when I zoom in, it doesn't look quite as good, but whatever. Maybe not so zoomed in. There we go. All right. So, like I mentioned, there are 3 10-sided dice we're going to be using for this. They're always red, white, blue, and each dice does a certain thing to find out the result of a play. Each play in this game takes 20 seconds. So, 20-minute period, 20 seconds, that's 3 per minute. That is 90 plays that you're going to be representing every period. So the game's going to be 270 plays long. So wow, that's a lot of plays. So you got to make sure if you're doing that many plays, it's got to be pretty darn quick. If you're doing 270 plays and the average, say, a minute a play, that's 270 minutes. That's like longer than the real game, right? So you got to make sure that the plays play out pretty darn quick. I might actually change that to, instead of 20 seconds, I might change it to something a little bit less, maybe 24 or 30 seconds, something like that. We'll see. Again, this is just a test to find out what's going on. So anyways, 3 10-sided dice. They're not red, $6.99, or I'm sorry, $9.66. It's my dyslexia coming back. They're red 9, a 6, and a 6. And they each do different things. So if you look at the, all right, let's start in the beginning. So this is matchup hockey, or well, the name of it was going to be matchup hockey, but I'm not going to change the name because I used to have matchup where I would take 2 players, one from each side, and then would roll dice and compare stats. And like we just talked about, the issue with that is the fact that if you're looking up at 2-player cards and you're looking up stats and adding dice, it can slow the game down. So now, instead of that, what we're doing is we're having each play will be represented by a certain player on the ice. They were going to check their stat to see whether or not they do very good or not so good, and depending on if they're on offense or if they are on defense. So we changed everything back to line one for everything here. Obviously, we have the Boston Bruins from 2015-16 against the Tampa Bay Lightning from 2015-16. I'm not doing all the card sets yet until I check my formulas to find out if everything seems to be working well and everything seems to flow well. And I've already thought of a couple things I need to add to the cards. So again, no sense in doing like 30 teams and then having to redo them all. So I've done 2 teams, the Lightning and the Bruins, from 2015-2016. So then we're going to use these cards, test my formulas on everything, the results formulas that I have, and then maybe make some adjustments and then add some new things into this box. But let's look at here. So we have obviously the team name up here. We have the year. We have the player's name. We have a offense and a defense in a big box. We have a little box here. We have position over here. Then we have PP plus, PP minus, PK plus, PK minus, and SA, SB, SC, lots of numbers and everything. And then down here at the bottom is going to be his total player stats for that season. So in this situation, Brad Marchand played in 77 games. That's GP games played. He had 37 goals. He had 24 assists, total of 61 points. Shooting percentage of 15% and a plus minus of 21. I think he actually If I'm not mistaken, he had the highest plus-minus rating of the whole league. So that's what the bottom stats are. So you can just look at the bottom to check out the players and see what their real stats were. All right, so the main thing, as I talked about, is we have an offensive stat and a defensive stat. All right. Well, before we actually look at that, let's look at a 10-sided dice. As I said, you're going to roll 3 10-sided dice to find out what's going on. And we'll just assume that Tampa Bay has the puck right now. All right, and you will notice next to Tampa Bay here, they have left defense, right defense, left wing, center, and a right wing. And of course, this is their first defensive pair and their first line out there. And same thing for Boston. But you notice we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we also have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It just so happens there are 10 offensive players out at the ice at a time, which happens to correspond really well with a 10-sided dice. So if Tampa Bay has the puck, we'll just assume Tampa Bay has the puck. In this case, it doesn't really, yeah, it does matter. Because we'll assume Tampa Bay has the puck. And this is just to give you a thorough example of how things play out. If Tampa Bay has the puck, when we roll the 10-sided dice to find out which player we're testing, obviously, if it's a Tampa Bay player, we're testing their offensive abilities. And if it's Boston, they don't have the puck, so we're going to be testing one of these players' defensive abilities. So the first dice we roll is going to tell us, the first dice we roll will tell us which player we're going to be looking at. So in this case, it would be an 8. Look at 8, that's Brett Connolly. We're going to check the right wing, and we're going to check Brett Connolly's defense because they don't have the puck. If another roll came up in the same situation out here, we rolled again, it would be a 3. We're going to check Vladislav Namestnikov, right wing, because it's a 3. We're going to be checking his offensive stat. Now, so that's an example of depending on who has the puck. If Boston has the puck, let's just say Boston has the puck, we do the roll again, and we come up with a 1. So we're going to be checking Palat's defensive value because they don't have the puck. Boston has the puck. Then we're going to be checking the defense over here. So number 1. So 1 through 5 is always going to be one team, and 6 through 10 is going to be the other. And in this case, I just always choose the home team as the lower numbers versus the higher numbers for the visitor team. So in this case, Boston will always be high numbers, and Tampa Bay will always be low numbers. Then you're going to check either offensive value or defensive value. So let's do a one more roll here. This time we're going to say Tampa Bay has the puck again. Tampa Bay has the puck. And we will get 9. All right. So number 9 is going to be Zdeno Chara's defense, left defense. So obviously, if you're playing cards and dice at home, you'd have the left defenseman out there. You can simply just look at his card. And what we're going to do with his card is we're actually, let's bring up his card. No. God damn it. Go back. There we go. Zdeno Chara. That's Tampa Bay. I don't need them. I need Boston. All right, so I'm going to bring up Zdeno Chara card. So this is his card. So when we look at the defense and offensive stats, which we're going to be looking at a lot, every play pretty much, we're going to find out they have an offensive value and they have a defensive value. So in this situation, we rolled a number 9, so we go to Zdeno Chara. He is the number 9 player, and since they do not have the puck, remember we said Tampa Bay has the puck. Since they don't have the puck, we're going to look at his defensive value. For Zdeno Chara, I'm just going to say Chara. His first name's hard to say. He has a defensive value of 7. So that's the second number that we roll. The first number is to find the player. The second number is the test to find out whether or not they were successful on their play. So you can see underneath offense, there is 2 values, one on the left, one on the right. Same thing with defense. There's one on the left and there's one on the right. Basically, the left means he was successful, and they are going to give you good results usually to your plays. If you are unsuccessful, you're going to roll in this column, and these are going to be bad results. Same thing with defense. If he passes his check, he's going to have good results. If he fails his check, he's going to have bad results. The PP plus, PP minus means if they're on the power play, you're going to check these stats, but you're going to use these columns over here for power play if he was successful or unsuccessful, and then same thing with penalty kill based on offense or defense. If they're on the penalty kill, offense, defense. So it's very important that you roll your stat well. Good things will happen. If you roll bad and you fail your checks, bad things are going to happen. So if we look at defense here, and he rolled a 7, so his number is a 7 or less, and in this case it is a 7. Remember, the first number tells us which player, second number is the check. Defense 7, 7, so he passes his check. Third die roll is, you guessed it, there is a 1 to 10 on each stat line. If he's successful, which he was, we're going to use this successful line. If he's unsuccessful, we would use this line. In this case, he is successful. We're going to go down to number 7, and it says SB. So let's look at some of the numbers, or the results here. The results are going to be, we'll just start over here. If it's a P, that means it's a possible penalty. So we're going to stop play, check for penalties, see if anything was called. If nothing was called, we're just going to continue on. So it's just a possible penalty. PS is a play stoppage. So either the puck got knocked out, or one team went off sides, or it got stuck in somebody's equipment. I mean, whatever. It's just PS is play stoppage. KP means they kept the puck. They didn't do anything with it. There was no shot on goal. There was nothing special that happened. He just kept the puck, so the same team is going to keep the puck. And that is pretty much all the results there, except for S, and then there's numbers. SC, SB, and SA. That means somebody on their team got a shot, and it's a quality shot if either SA, SB, or SC. So A is like, think of A as the outside shot, kind of like from the point, or a low quality shot from the corner or something like that. It's not a very high quality shot. And you'll see that here in a little bit. So B is kind of, think of that as the slot, or kind of the middle of the ice, is kind of middle zone plays. And then C is up close and personal, within, say, 10 feet or 15 feet of the goalie, good quality shots. So obviously SB, A, B, and C represent what the shot is going to, A is outside, B is middle, and C is up close. All right, if you lose, you're going to find out the same thing, but in front of the SA, SB, and SC, you're going to see the explanation points. That means the puck was turned over, and the opponents get a shot A, or a shot B, or a shot C. So for Zdeno Chara here, if he would fail his offensive check and, say, roll a 7, it's going to be a turnover, and the opponents are going to get a shot B. Same thing, LP is loose puck. So loose puck happens. We're going to roll to find out who recovers the puck. TO is turnover. LP again is loose puck. PS is play stoppage. TO is turnover, and P is penalty. That pretty much goes for all the different columns here. These are pretty much all the results except for the I. If you're on the penalty kill, I is an icing. So you're basically turning the puck back to the other team, but you've iced it down. You can change players, etc., etc. I think that's pretty much it. So you will notice that the only time the opponents get a shot on goal is when you fail your check. There is no explanation point SC on the positive side of the player cards. And on the negative side, if you lose your check, there is no actual where you get a result. So that's why getting your passing your checks is very, very important. It separates each of the players. Now, we rolled a 977, which is a Zdeno Chara. We're checking his defense and his 7, and he's got an SB. So Boston is getting an SB, which means somebody is getting a shot on goal, and it's going to be a B shot. You will notice over here on the far right-hand column, there is an SA, an SB, and SC. What you want to do is you want to roll on these columns so that you get an X, which means the shots on goal, goalie needs to make a save, and that's when we'll look at the goalie card up here. You can see against A, against B, against C, against his personal check, which we'll talk about here. So against Zone A, you can see he's got a 9 value. Same thing with the goalie. Basically, he's either going to pass or fail his check in each of the different zones. So if it's a B shot and he rolls a 7, he's going to make the save and he's going to use this column. If it's a 9, he would use this column. If it's an 8, he would use the success column. So you need equal to or less than for a success. And then we'll talk about some of the other specifics. Again, down here on the bottom is the goalie information, games played, won, lost, overtime loss, shutouts, and shooting save percentage. Sorry, it's save percentage, not shooting percentage. So in this case, let's follow along in our example here. We have Zdeno Chara, who was tested because he rolled a 9. He was tested as defensive stat because they did not have the puck, so it's a 7. He did well. He made his check. And then we checked number 7 off, which is SB. So somebody on Boston got a B shot. So we're going to re-roll the dice, and this is going to tell us what happens with the shot. So we re-roll. And we rolled a number 9. So again, the red dice, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, was going to tell us which player. So Zdeno Chara got a number 9, and guess what? That is himself. So Zdeno Chara is coming in. He's going to be taking a B shot. All right, so we're going to look at his SB column, which is here. He only actually has 2 successes on his column. As being a defenseman, he's used to shooting from the outside, so he usually has more results on his outside column. And you also notice there is a T, which means he took a shot, but it was tipped in front. And in that situation, we're going to be checking something else. So in this case, it's an SB. So we look at the second number, which is a 5. So we're looking at the 5 column in the SB, and you notice it's blank. So in this case, Zdeno Chara took a shot and missed it. It was either deflected wide or blocked, or he just missed the goal or whatever. And in this case, because it wasn't a result on a goalie, the blue dice is going to tell us who gets possession of the puck. And we notice 6. So guess what? Brad Marchand. So in this case, we know Boston, Zdeno Chara came in, took a nice shot from the slot, missed the net, ricocheted off. They fought for it in the corner a little bit, and ended up getting it is Brad Marchand. It doesn't matter which player has it because we're going to start over in the next play. So 20 seconds would go off the clock. We would hit the timer. You would see it drop by 20 seconds. And then we're going to do another play, which we're going to do right now to show you how this flows out. So we know Boston has the puck now. So if we roll a Boston check, that means we're going to be checking their offense. And if we roll a Tampa Bay check, that means we're going to be checking their defensive stats. So let's try another play and see what comes up. And away we go. It is a 4. So we're going to be checking defense because that is Victor Hedman, one of the best defensive players for Tampa Bay. So we're going to look at Victor Hedman here. I'm just going to slide that over there. He rolled a 3. He has a defense of 7, so successful. We look at 9 under success, and that is going to be a GP. So one thing we didn't look at is under the defensive is there are a few other options other than when you're on offense. Like, for example, KP is keep puck. In the defensive zone, GP is get puck. So Victor Hedman got the puck away from Boston, and now Tampa Bay has possession of the puck. And we don't need to check which player unless you want to. And now this brings up another point here is sometimes you notice we have 1 through 5 and 6 through 9, obviously for the players. But sometimes it's going to be a situation where only one team is going to end up getting the puck, either Tampa Bay or Boston, based upon our dice rolls. And in that situation, you can always think of the 10-sided dice as 1 is left wing, center, right wing, left defense, right defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, left wing, 7, center, 8, right wing, 9, 10. So even though we rolled a 9 here in this case, which would be the left defenseman for Boston, because we know that Tampa Bay got possession of the puck, they GP'd it, they got possession of the puck. Number 9 is just going to tell us which position, and that's going to be the left defenseman. So Victor Hedman actually got the possession of the puck. He has the puck right now. Hey, Al Red Sox fan is here to check out my super cool card and dice version game here. And he's actually spelling Superfragilisticexpialidocious Saturday to me. So, well, welcome there, Al. Same thing to you. We're going through another play. Thanks for joining me here. So in this case, Victor Hedman took the puck away and kept it himself instead of passing it to someone else. And that you can always do that. You don't need to because the next play is going to be based upon a random dice roll. All we need to know is who's got possession of the puck. In this case, Tampa Bay has possession of the puck. So now we roll all 4 dice again. Or I'm sorry, all 3 dice again. I'm used to saying 4 dice. In this case, it's a 9. Once again, Zdeno Chara is going to be tested. Good thing we have his card right here. And we're going to be checking his defense because they do not have the puck. He's a 6. That's a success. We roll a 6 on his chart, and that is a GP, which means Boston now has possession of the puck. So that's 3 plays in a row. Nothing interesting happened. There was 1 shot. I'm sorry. We did have 1 shot on goal, but that sometimes happens. Downloaded these dice games yesterday. Yeah? What dice games was that? This is my card and dice game. I'm explaining how to play it. And if you want, once I get it finished up, I'll send you a copy there, Al, and you can try it out for yourself and see what you think of it. So we know Boston has possession of the puck again. That was the 3rd play, so obviously we've gone through a minute of time. And now we know Boston has possession of the puck, so we're going to roll all 3 dice again. We're going to find out which player is going to be tested. It's going to be player number 5. So in this case, it's going to be Anton Strowman. So let's get out Strowman's card here. Anton Strowman here. I need to slide this out of the way. I need this up here. I need this down here. All right, Tampa Bay's down at the bottom. All right, there we go. Anton Strowman, there's his card. Here we go. And we tested his defense because they do not have the puck. He has a 7. He's a quality defender. And so he passed his check, and we rolled a 10. So we look at 10. And this is a loose puck situation. So this is the first time a loose puck ended up happening. So based upon some defensive. You downloaded the one from Gen 1400. Yeah, good. Hopefully you'll check these out. They seem like they're pretty decent demos and pretty decent games. Not as good as my game, but whatever. So we ended up getting a 10 over here, so that is a loose puck. So in a loose puck situation, we're going to roll all 3 dice. We're going to check to see which team gets possession of the puck. And the first dice will be for the home team. The second dice will be for the visitor team. And in this case, whichever dice ends up rolling higher. There is some defensive things that we'll talk about later when you go into, you can see you're actually in normal defense. You can actually go into aggressive mode, and of course you can be on the penalty kill or on the power play, which will adjust your results. So right now both teams are just normal. They get a straight up 0, +0, +0. So it's basically whoever rolls higher. A 5 for Tampa Bay because they're the home team. We always roll the home team first. Second dice is a 9. So that's Boston. +0 is going to be 9 versus 5. So Boston gets possession of the puck. So Strowman knocked it away, but Boston gets possession of it. And another 20 seconds to come off the clock. And then we're going to do a random roll here to see what happens. And we're going to be testing player number 4. This happens to be Victor Hedman again. So we're going to be checking Victor Hedman out. And he rolled a 6. He is a defensive 7, so he made his check. And number 2 is going to be a PS. So that's a play stoppage. So after about a minute, let's see, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we would be down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'd be down to 18 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game. There was one shot on goal, nothing, actually one shot, it didn't even end up going on goal. And now the teams would change lines, which we're going to do. So we're just going to change everything to pair number 2 and line number 2. So we're just going to match up line 2 versus line 2. I'm not going to worry about the matchups right now as I'm just explaining how to play things. All right, so what we're going to do here is we would, obviously with cards and dice version, you'd have the cards on the table. When we do a face-off, same thing, we're going to roll the first dice is the home team, the second dice is the visitor team, and you're going to add the centerman's face-off value. So in this case, it's Tyler Johnson. So let's get out his card so you can see what it is. So that's what this little number in the box is their face-off value. So Tyler Johnson is going to add 6 to his dice roll. And for Boston, it's David Krejcik. So David Krejcik is right here, and he's a 6. So they're basically both +6. So we're going to roll the dice, and whoever rolls higher wins it, and then the third dice would tell us which position gets possession of the puck. So in this case, it's going to be a pretty straight-up even roll since they're both +6. And Tampa Bay rolls 6 + 7 is 13. Boston rolls 6 + 2 is 8. So Tampa Bay gets possession of it, and player number 4 is Jason Garrison, who has possession of the puck. And no time comes off on face-offs. Then we would roll a check here to see Tampa Bay has possession of the puck. That is a 10, so we're going to be checking Dennis Seidenberg. And we're going to be checking his defense. So Dennis Seidenberg. His defense is a 6. He rolled a 6, so he is successful. And he rolled a 3, which is a GP, which is get puck. So Boston now has possession of the puck. And now we're going to find out what happens. Oh, another 20 seconds coming off the clock. There we go. That's a 6-3-3-6 is going to be Matt Beasley. So finally, Boston has possession of the puck. And we're going to check out if Matt Beasley can make a good offensive play. Matt Beasley, there he is. Here comes his card. His offense value is 6. He rolls a 6, so he rolled a 3. So he's successful. So we look on 3 under his successful column, and that is a SC. So that means it is a good quality scoring chance. A C is the best you can get. Now let's find out what player. We're going to re-roll the dice to find out which player is getting the check. And the first dice will tell us the position. The position is number 1, which is left wing. So the left wing is going to get possession, or take the shot. In this case, the left wing happens to be Matt Bolesky. Matt Bolesky is taking the shot. So we need Matt Bolesky's card out so we can, right here he is. He's the one that actually stole the puck. So he stole the puck, came in, and faked out a defender and got in close, and he is now a C chance. So we look at the second dice, which is a 10. We find out if he got it on goal or not. In this case, a 10 is not on goal. He missed it. Once again, a shot, but maybe deflected off a player, maybe got blocked, whatever. In this case, he did not end up getting it on goal. Again, he's not too quality. I mean, he's got 15 goals in 80 games, 22, 37 points. Shooting percentage of 9%, so I mean, he doesn't have great shooting accuracy. So with the 10 result, that means it's a miss. Now we find out who gets possession of the puck. In this case, it's number 10, which happens to be Boston. So Beasley took the shot, missed it, but Dennis Seidenberg gets possession of the puck. So now we roll for new play. As a number 1, so it's going to be Alex Killorn. Alex Killorn, let's see here. So we're going to be testing his defensive value, which is only a 4. But he makes a check because he rolled a 2. And he rolled the number 4, so that is a SC. So Alex Killorn blocks the shot, steals the puck from Boston, passes it to someone who's getting another scoring quality chance. Let's see who is getting this chance. It happens to be number 1, which is Alex Killorn. So he took it all the way in himself. Now we got to find out whether or not it's on goal. It's an SC. So SC is a 10. So we'll look at 10 and 10. Sure enough, that is a shot on goal. So we've got a shot on goal. We don't use the third dice because that would tell us who gets possession of the puck on a mischance. But now we're going to Tuukka Rask's card. So a Tuukka Rask's card, we're going to be rolling to find out whether it's a goal or not. So he took a C shot. Tuukka Rask is rated as a 7 player. If he's successful, he'll be looking at this column to see if he makes a save. If he's unsuccessful, he'll be looking at this column. And the difference is a X result is a save, and R result is a save and a rebound, and a @ symbol is going to be, if you roll an @ symbol, notice on the success column, there is actually no blanks. The only thing you can do when the goalie is successful is get an @ symbol. When they roll the @ symbol, there's a special column over here that we re-roll again to find out whether or not he successfully makes the play or not. So we're looking at a 7 for Tuukka Rask on the C column. So you can see the big difference. A is 8, B is 8, C is a 7. So closer in, better quality. Yes, I made this game. Better quality chance. So he needs a 1 through 7. We're going to find out if he is in position. Oh wait, no roll. If you notice, if you don't, basically this is a check to find out if you're in position to make the save. If you're in position to make the save, you're going to make the save, and then you might have to check your secondary column. If you're not in position to make the save, or you fail your check, you have rebound checks, you have X checks, but you also have blanks. That means it's a goal right there if you roll a blank. So obviously you want your goalie to be successful. So he needs a 1 through 7 to be successful. If he's not successful, much better chance for Alex Killorn to light the lamp. Let's find out. That's a 10. So a 10 is unsuccessful. We're going to look at unsuccessful column, and we're going to look at number 6. And look at that. Number 6 is a blank. So Alex Killorn lights the lamp, and Tampa Bay takes a 1-0 lead. Take some time off the clock there. So we got Alex Killorn lights the lamp for Tampa Horn. And then we can check for assists if you know who had the possession of the puck ahead of time. In this case, Boston had possession. Killorn took the puck away, ended up going all the way in. So we don't know whether or not there is an assist 1 or an assist 2. So we actually look at the third dice. The third dice tells us on an even number there are 2 2 assists. If it's an odd number, there's only 1 assist. If you've been keeping track of who had the puck, you can and know who there, we can put these players in there. But it's an even number, so we're going to just look at his line mates here, and we're going to roll 2 dice to find out who got the assists. And we're going to find out just by position number. So it's position number 2, which is center, Tyler Johnson, and position number 1, which is Alex Killorn. So that extra assist would go away. So Alex Killorn, assist by Tyler Johnson at, we need to put the time in there. And we can you can randomize it. It's going to be 17, we'll say 40. We'll use this last dice since we didn't use it too. So 1742 remaining in the first period. Alex Killorn, we need to make that slightly less big. Slightly less big, there we go. Alex Killorn, 1742 of the first period, and Al Red Sox fan says lightning goal, lightning strike. That's it, lightning strike first. So then you would change players, obviously. Now's a good time to switch your lines after a goal. Give everybody a chance to rest. There we go. All right, so we're going to check out the centerman, which is Kapanen and Filppula. Kapanen and Filppula to find out. Let's see here. What was it? Jonas. There we go. Jonas. Kapanen. Jonas Kapanen. There we are. He has a face-off value of 6. Filppula, Valerie Filppula has a value of 7. So slight advantage for Filppula here to get this puck back to Tampa Bay. So first dice is home team. That's an 8. Plus 7 is a 8 plus 7 is what? 15. And a 9 plus 6 is also 15. So it ended up being a tie. So they fight for it. If it's a tie, you go to the third dice to find out who gets possession. So they scramble around for it. Player number 1, which happens to be the left wing for Tampa Bay, gets it. So Tampa Bay ends up getting the puck. No time off the clock on a faceoff. Tampa Bay gets it. And now we start rolling with Tampa Bay. All right, it's an 8. So we're going to be checking Pasternak's defense. David Pastrnak. He's got a defensive 5. He rolled a 5, so he's successful. And in this case, he rolled a 1, so we look at the 1, and it's a GP. So he got the pucks for Boston. So Boston gets possession of the puck. We'll take 20 seconds off the clock, and we'll roll to find out what kind of check we're doing. It's a 2, so it's a defensive check for the centerman, Filppula, which I actually have his card right here, so we'll just bring it up to the top. He rolled a 3 for his defense, so he is successful, and so it's 6. That's going to be a shot B, so Tampa Bay gets a shot B. We're going to find out which player gets it. So you can see it's pretty much so far all the times we've made our checks, pretty much. But if you don't make your check, you're going to find out lots of bad things happen. And this second dice is rolled really low every time, so everybody's been making their plays. So we got a shot B coming up. We ignore this, and we go and find out which player gets the shot off. That is player number 10, so his position is right defense. So Matt Carlisle gets the shot off. So Matt Carlisle, let's look at Matty here for Tampa Bay. Matt Carlisle. And his B rating, he's a pretty bad shooter altogether. He's only got a couple results. He only had 2 goals, Matt Carlisle. So you can see most of the time he's not going to get a check, but you never know. The one time he might. So look at the B column, look at number 6. Oh, right next to it. So in this case, he missed it. So we find out who gets possession of the puck, and actually is number 2. So Fipua gets the puck back for Tampa Bay. And 20 seconds off the clock. And we roll again. So you can see, if you had the cards laid out, you had the dice, it'd just be a simple roll the dice, check real quick. So, oh, this might be interesting. Player number 7 is Jonas Kapanen. So Kapanen here. And he's got a defensive value of 7. He did not make his check. He rolled a 4, so he's too high. So he used the other side. And look at number 5. And in this case, it is the other team. That's what that explanation means. So it's going to be Tampa Bay gets a shot C. So the best quality shot is coming in again. And then we roll to find out who takes the shot. Is going to be on the new roll. So the new roll is going to be player number 1, which happens to be the left wing, Paquette. So Cedric Paquette. Cedric Paquette. We don't have his card out yet. There's Cedric Paquette. He has taken his C shot. So we look at number 9 on the C column, and number 9 is a blank, so he missed it. So he misses his shot, and it goes to number 6, which happens to be Boston. So he misses his shot. They scramble around for it. Boston gets possession. Another 20 seconds off the clock. And Boston has possession of it. You can see, when you don't make your check, bad things happen. So 4 is going to be Suter, left defenseman. And he has a defensive value of 5, but he makes it, and he gets a 3. So a loose puck results. So he knocks it away, and they scramble around. And in this case, since everybody's just playing normal, we just compare the 2 dice. It's a 2 and a 2, so it's an even number, or it's a tie and a loose puck, which means it's going to just be a whistle and play stoppage there. So, whew, that's how that goes. Now, since there's a play stoppage, we can change lines. We can bring in our better players again. You could try to match up. But in this case, just for ease of things, I'm just going to put everybody's number 1 line in. Actually, what we'll do is we'll put in the number 1 defenses, but we're going to put in the 4th line for Tampa Bay. So that way they have a chance to get some ice time. So again, we're going to check Brian Boyle and Bergeron. Brian Boyle is face-off value is 6. Patrice Bergeron is a 9. So he's going to add 9 to it. So he's a very good face-off man, Patrice Bergeron. So 9 versus 6. So basically we're going to add 3 to Boston's check here. So plus 3, so 7 plus 3 is 10, so they win it. And it goes to position number 4, which happens to be the left defenseman. So after the face-off, Bergeron gets it to Zdeno Chara. No time off with the face-off. Zdeno Chara. Boston has possession. Let's see if they can get the shot on goal here and actually get a shot on goal. That is a come on. Wiggle them around. 4-4. That looks like a 7 to me. So it's a 7. So position number 7 is going to be Bergeron. So Bergeron is going to test his offense because they have possession of the puck. Patrice Bergeron has an offensive value of 6, so he makes it. And now we look at position number 4. That is a loose puck. So even though he's successful, loose puck results. And we're going to just find out based upon each player's defensive structure. In this case, they're both playing normal, so we don't have to worry about that. If one team was on the power play, they would have an advantage. Or like I said, you can also play you can play aggressive. You can play defensive, which will adjust your loose puck result. So in this case, 4 versus 2. So the Lightning end up getting the possession of the puck. And time off the clock. And let's find out what happens. That is number 10, Torrey Krug, the right defenseman. He's going to make a check. Torrey Krug, there he is. And he's going to be successful because that's a number 1. So defensive value is 6. And he was successful. So that is going to be an SB. So somebody in Boston, because he was successful, is going to get a pretty good scoring chance, a B shot. Let's find out who that is. Roll these dice again. And it's position number 1, which happens to be left wing, Brad Marchand. Brad Marchand is getting a quality shot here. He's a SB result. So we look at column number 1 in this column, and he's missed it. So missed a shot, and it shows who gets possession of the puck, which happens to be player number 4, which is on Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay gets possession after Brad Marchand misses the shot. And he would take another 20 seconds off the clock and proceed to the next and go on and on and on and on and on and on. And there you go. So that is some of my hockey game. I've got to go get some food here. Dinner is ready. So just thought I would give you guys some introductions to it. Hopefully you can check this video out. We watched it a couple times so you can understand the flow and everything. Obviously, with cards and dice on your table, it'd be a little bit easier to play because you'd have all the player cards right there stacked out in front of you, and you'd be able to check results. For me, I've got to find the player card. I've got to pop it over here so you can see who it is. I can't have all. Well, each team has 20 players, so that'd be 40 cards on the screen. I can't have all 40 cards across the screen at the same time. But we ended up getting a goal here in the first period. Alex Killhorn at the 17:42 mark. Tyler Johnson with the assist. No penalties yet, but we've only played 4 minutes of the game. So there you go. I think it flows pretty good. Let me know what your thoughts or suggestions or comments, whatever. Let me know in the comments section below if you're watching this later. Otherwise, we'll see you when I bring in some more updated values. Like I said, I've noticed some things on the player cards that I thought about afterwards, but I'm not going to remake all the player cards yet until I check out some of the other things. Like, for example, you notice that the defensive players, let's get rid of some of these cards here, have T results on them, so that means they get tipped in front. I didn't think about that until after I'd already done the Tampa Bay one. So I was like, well, I can't go back and change that now. So there's other results I want, like, even though you didn't get a shot on goal, maybe it was deflected, or, some of these might result in a play stoppage, or might automatically be a save and a rebound. So lots of other results that instead of just lots of blanks. So we'll see. It'll kind of make each player card stand out a little bit more as well. So you can see you're basically just rolling to find out which player you're going to check. You're going to take the player, and then you're going to just simply look to see if he makes his check, find out what kind of results he gets, and go on to the next play really quick. Boom, boom, boom. Thanks, Al, Red Sox fan, for joining me. I have got to go. I will see you guys later. We're going to be watching some Yankees Astros game number 7. I told you guys the other night, and Al, Red Sox fans, live stream, that it wasn't over yet. If you're a Yankees fan, don't think it's over. I told you guys Astros are going to win. Sure enough, 7-1. I was thinking 8-0, so I was not far off. I foresee a game tonight. I won't give you the score yet. We'll see if we can get into a live stream and talk about it later. So thanks for joining me, guys. We'll see you guys soon. Take care. Have a good night.